Hey there, I'm Jodie, and today is a bit of a bonus for the $39.94 listeners and an extra episode, if you will. So check out our sponsors in the show notes. Joining us today is Bryce Howard and Lindy Holt, members of the 2026 Andrew County Fair Board. Thank you guys again for being here. I appreciate it. So summer fairs have long been traditions in America, of course, and in this county. And it takes a lot of volunteers to make this happen. You guys are really trying to make it happen this year and make it different and give it that extra oomph. So tell us a little bit about the county fair.
Well, it is the third week in June. It's June 13th through the 21st, and we're going to have, following a week of livestock shows, we're going to have a rodeo and some events on the square, and a community church, a car show. So we have a variety of activities, probably for every generation, we hope.
It sounds like a parade too and beauty contest. So we'll talk all about those. But first, I want to ask you guys a little bit about yourselves and your position on the board. So Bryce, first of all, where do you work?
I'm Bryce Howard. I work for United Electric here in Savannah. It's the only job I've ever had, only place I've ever been. So born and raised here in Savannah. Then 3 years ago, I decided it would be a good idea to get on the Andrew County Fair Board. So here we are. So.
Wonderful. And Lindy, I have heard so much about you, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm currently the agriculture instructor and the FFA advisor at North Andrew High School. I did have a little stint at Savannah, so some of these students, or my past students, I see in Savannah a lot. I am not a native of Andrew County. I moved up here for an Andrew County boy. I married a Holt, Derek Holt from Holt Angus Farms, and that's how I ended up in Northwest Missouri. So,
well, we've heard from some of your students, so we know that you have definitely had an impact on them, and everybody knows your name and knows about you, and so that's exciting that you guys are both the spokesperson for the fair. And why do you guys want it to be different than it has in years past?
Well, years ago, I mean, the Andrew County Fair was a big thing, and I believe one of the first years for the fair was in 1952. And it actually started out that it was the American Legion Fair. The American Legion handled it. And then sometime along the way, it got changed to the Andrew County Fair Board. And it used to be a big thing. And it just seems like, over time, volunteers get tired, they wear out. It kind of died off to livestock shows there for several years. And it'd be 3 years ago, everybody decided, let's do something different. Let's make this better. So that's when we, had the fair on the square, the rodeo. This will be the third year for the Roy and Lucille Leeson Memorial Rodeo.
I love that. So what can people expect if they do want to attend the rodeo, for instance?
I call it just a night in the Western way of life. I tell everybody rodeo is the only real sport anymore. I mean, you say the Pledge of Allegiance, you pray before the rodeo, it's real life. So I'm looking forward to that.
And are these like local riders, or who can we expect to see?
Got different sanctions. It'll be riders from Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. They'll come from a ways around.
That's awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about some other events that are happening and what's different than years past. Like, how are you guys making it so much better and bigger?
well, I guess I can start talking about the livestock shows that we have as an FFA advisor. That when the past fair board kind of wore its way down, a group of us got together and kept the livestock shows going. So our kids who had animal projects could show them locally. And so the ag teachers at Savannah, myself, some Baumans, Greg Bauman, we got together and made sure we've done those the whole time. And so as they started back up with the events, I guess I kind of got pulled into that too. And so we're trying to make it better. We're trying to make it something spectator, things for all ages. And so our group has a lot of different personalities on it, so they bring a lot of different events to it. And we have people that are running the royalty contest, the baby show, the car show. The garden tractor pull is actually on June 14th at the fairgrounds, and that brings in a group of people that really are passionate about the little, they look like lawnmowers and they pull weights. It's like a tractor pull, but for little tractors. And so I think I don't know much about what's going on when I go, but it's fun to see those people get excited about it. So What else do we have? Let's see. Oh, community church is the final event that we have. And this is going to be an upgrade. We're moving it to Duncan Park, and they built that new like grandstand or stage.
Pavilion.
Yeah. Okay. And so we're going to use that area. It's a nice green space. Hopefully it's cool. It's level. And so we'll use that spot for church that everybody could feel welcome to, not just a certain denomination or a certain age group or something like that. Wakefield Hair is going to be giving the message, so everybody knows Wakefield. Another North Andrew grad, and so I think that's an improvement over the years past. I think we're upgrading the church or the community church, and we have been struggling to find a carnival. And when we always hear that you can't have a fair without a carnival, well, the economics for carnivals right now is not real great. And so finding one has been a challenge. So this year we have highball rides out of St. Joe. They're coming up here. So they have inflatables. They have a couple other kind of smaller rides, but they are bringing the mechanical bull. So if you go to the rodeo and, feel a passion, think you want to try it out, you can come up to the mechanical bull first and try it out there.
I love that. Well, I lived for a long time in Adair County.
Yes.
I lived for a long time in
Okay.
Adair County, and the fair is huge there in Adair County. And other areas of Missouri have great fairs, and so there's no reason, right, why this can't be awesome, and it's going to continue to grow, and that's exciting. Why would you say, Lindy, that ag education and getting people involved when they're young in ag is so important to this area?
Well, I mean, agriculture is the main economy or the industry in the area. We talk about, what's driving the businesses in the area. They're either agriculture based, they're agriculture services, their customers are farmers or agriculturists. And so everything centers around that. So I guess it's not getting them interested, because a lot of times they're already interested, but showing them all the different ways you can be involved in agriculture. It's not just, I have a bottle calf, I want to show it, or we, grow corn. There's other ways you can be involved in it. And, it's, like I said, it's the driving economic factor of Andrew County. So I guess it should be respected that it's so important. So ag education, so FFA's motto is learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve. So this is the doing to learn, like you raise an animal, you have that kind of thing. And so this is where they come show their project at the Livestock Shows. And so we have livestock shows for every animal, every species, starting with swine, sheep, goats, cattle or beef, and rabbits and chickens. So rabbits and poultry, I guess I should say. So any kid, you could have a beef cow or you could have a chicken, and you could come show it at the Andrew County Fair. And they get to win a ribbon, possibly they could win a little bit of money. And so it's just cool for those kids to get out in front of their loved ones and show off their animal. I mean, that's why sports are such a big thing. It's a spectator sport. So this is where agriculture gets to be a spectator sport. I mean, everybody drives by the cornfields and judges when people are putting up hay or planting corn or something. This is when it's an appropriate way to be a spectator sport. So,
and for those of us who aren't maybe attached to ag locally that way, I mean, it's kind of nice to think, okay, we're getting an invitation here, right, to come to a fair and be able to do something like this. So it's kind of cool.
And the kids, they really enjoy it when they get the spectators. So, it makes them feel good. So,
yes,
it's maybe something not everybody thinks about going to a livestock show. So we just hope that the county and community will come together and find out when these show times are and come support these kids.
I love that. Well, we'll have those on the screen. Tell us about your backgrounds really quick as far as ag goes. What is your affiliation?
As far as ag, my dad and I, we have a cow-calf operation, very small, 30 head, put up quite a bit of hay. That's kind of my ag thing. We raise a few horses. So that's kind of my ag affiliation with the county.
Anything you want to say about the price of beef right now?
It's high.
Wow.
It's high.
I mean, are you guys doing well?
Yeah. But it's good. But everything else raises with it. It's not necessarily you're making more money, you're handling more money. Sometimes it feels like.
I was going to say, I do have a couple more kids to put through college. I don't know if your cows are, you need something to have money go to the beef.
If I think of something, I'll let you know. But since I work in town, and my dad worked in town, he was the county sheriff for 22 years. He's actually the grand marshal this year for the parade, by Grant Gillette's choice, not mine. So, But it's just always been a side gig for us. So
I love that. Tell me about the parade. We didn't get a chance to talk about that very much.
the parade will start at 12th and Main, and it will go to 4th and Main, right here at the corner of Connections Bank, and or no, I guess it'd be 5th and Main. The Connections Bank and the square, it'll turn there. The square will be shut off for the rides and the car show, so it'll be busy around the square. So we kind of got to turn it right there and head north where it'll end.
And I know you've said that the dream would be someday to make it like close to the Savannah Homecoming Parade.
Right.
So if people are interested, maybe it's too late now, but next year getting involved in the parade,
Right.
do they just contact the fair board?
Yeah, and you can go online, like to register for the parade. There's registration forms there online. So, and it's not too late. I mean, we'll take registration up till the last minute. So,
Somebody's gonna enter. It'll be like one person. They just want to walk.
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So,
And Lindy, tell us a little bit about your connection with ag, because I understand that not only you're an ag teacher, but you're involved in Farm Bureau, which a lot of us have insurance through Farm Bureau. Tell us a little bit about that organization.
Well, Farm Bureau is a grassroots organization to promote agriculture in the state of Missouri, and there is county or state farm bureaus all over the nation. There's an American Farm Bureau, and they listen to their members, kind of like a cooperative, to go out and maybe advocate at the state legislature for bills or things like that that benefit the farmer. Recently, over last many years, eminent domain has been a big deal because we really didn't want people coming in and taking our land by eminent domain for high power lines or things like that. I think that's important because we may have these issues with some other new buildings that people want to bring into our communities and maybe we don't want. So standing up for the rights of agriculture and the farmer, that they'll probably get really involved with this new world screwworm and potential coming into the United States again. So that's what Farm Bureau does. And to fund some of that, they, a long time ago, started selling insurance. You can buy insurance through Farm Bureau, and they started carrying some health plans because they saw a need. Farmers, we have to farmers don't, your benefits are only getting to go outside in the beautiful weather, I guess, if you work for yourself, you have to buy your own insurance. So we self-insure. And so finding affordable health plans has been a real challenge. So now Farm Bureau is starting to carry some health plans. So to help, agriculturalists find those affordable health plans. So, but anyway, like my husband's a farmer, and so we've had to self-insure, and that's a very big cost. So I guess it's good that cattle prices are up a little bit right now.
Well, and you don't need to talk about this with me, but I want to ask you about your husband, because that is kind of something to highlight, is that people don't realize they need to be sharing the road during a time like this. And so is that something that you can talk to us just a little bit about?
Sure. So it's been 7 years ago. My husband was involved in a tractor collision. He was on 71 highway about Andrew County Oil business, and he is going to have life-lasting injuries. He had a brain injury, internal bleeding, he broke his arm, but all those have healed except for his brain injury. He'll live with that his whole life. So a TBI, sometimes people will call it a traumatic brain injury.
Tell me about just the importance of safety on the road, because I know that that has to be something that you guys think about, like how you can advocate for something like this. And what can we do? What can we do as a community to support that?
Well, just have patience when you see farmers on the road. They have every right to be on that road as you do. It's not the fastest car has the most rights on the highway. Tractors and combines and spurs also have the rights to Missouri roadways, and so we just need to be patient with them. Keep your head up, keep your phone down, and pay attention that because you can come up on somebody pretty fast when they're going 30 miles an hour and you're going over the speed limit. And just be patient, especially on 71 is nice and wide, but if you're on the letter highways, or if you're on a dirt road, those things are very narrow. You need to pay attention and always be alert, because you can come over a hill and there could be, cattle on the road or a tractor and something like that. And it doesn't take a split second and you've ruined somebody's life or changed it forever. So.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your heart about that with us, because I think it's important to educate people, and you're the best person for the job. So thank you. So one other thing I wanted to ask you guys about was who's sponsoring the fair this year, because it takes more than just volunteers. We all know that it takes money too.
Right. We got several good sponsors. Potter Farms, they've stood behind us faithfully for 3 years now. just some I can think of off the top of my head. Dairy Queen, they've been a great sponsor. Osborne Angus, John and Joel Osborne, they provide our beef for our concession stand at the rodeo. And as we know, the price of beef, that's a huge undertaking, I feel like. And they've really went out of their way to, they see the need and they want to help.
And you're saying there's going to be food.
There's going to be
Oh,
great
yeah.
food at the concession stand at the rodeo. There'll be food on the square too, but at the rodeo there will be a concession stand with Osborne Angus. So, if you want some real beef, you'd better come to the rodeo. So, but we couldn't do it without them. Like I said, I know them's just some of our bigger ones. We have several that have, helped along the way, and Lindy can touch on that a little bit too.
Yeah, I brought up the list. Maryville Livestock Barn, Taylor Siemens Elliott Lyle Law Firm have been really supportive. The Andrew Buchanan County Cattlemen's Association, Andrew County Mutual, Evergy, H&B Bank, MFA, Northwest Insurance, Pizza Shop, Schilling Property, Victory Chevrolet, and Farm Bureau. So those are our biggest ones right now. So
Wonderful. So if you guys could just speak to, why it's important to go to something like this locally and be involved in local events.
I think it's a good idea just so we can have things here. I don't know how many times you hear, well, the small town of Graham can have such a big fair. Look at Savannah. Why can't we have something? Or, people go to Nottoway County to the fair, and, why can't Savannah? So we've really been working hard to bring that to Savannah. And, like I said, this is the third year of actually getting in the swing of things, and we hope we make it better every year. So,
and finding the volunteers to help us. We're a small group that, haven't burned out yet, but eventually. And so finding volunteers to help us pull off these events, it takes a lot of labor to pull off these events. So, if anybody wants to see it get better or has an idea, reach out to us and we will bring them on. We are not an exclusive group. We would love to have more help and stuff like that. And so I think that's what makes the small towns awesome, is when they locals volunteer to put on these events. And it does take a grassroots effort to put it on. So I've seen a lot of people say, well, what, are you enjoying your summer now that you're not teaching? And I said, well, now I'm in fair board mode. That's been my job. So on June 21st, I'll be really ready for the summer, I'm sure.
Right. Take a vacation.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. Hopefully we can spread the word for you.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, follow, and share the podcast with a friend. Those simple actions help us continue telling stories of the people and organizations working to strengthen our communities. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Woolman Families Deluxe Truck Stop, E.L. Crawford Construction, Greater Than Financial, Gina's Cafe and Catering, North Central Missouri College, Scooters Coffee, and Pancakes, Pups, and Suds. Until next time.